Ladies and gentlemen, football fans of North Central Ohio, you are now entering the Friday Night Pigskin. So get strapped in, lace them tight, and get right for big hits, top plays, and highlights. All coming your way from under the Friday night lights. The most exciting sounds and sights, gridiron action to serve your viewing delights. Let's go. Friday night lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday night lights. Get hype, here we go now. Friday night lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday night lights. Get hype, here we go now. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown! Throws it over the middle and he gets absolutely sauced. Friday night lights. Get hype, it's Friday night. Friday night lights. Get hype, here we go now.
Probably hand off to Smith, I imagine, right here. Oh, zone read. Star keeps it, and he is ahead. Oh, met. That's a woo hit. Crack back right there, but not before he gets ahead for about 5 yards. And that is a woo hit to end the third quarter here at Orville. Stick with us, folks. When we come back, the pads are still cracking, and Triway's trying to put this thing away.
There is your call of the night, and it's a woo hit. I can't really do it. I am out of voice because it has been a wild week here on the OH Report and an unbelievable week 10, the fastest 10 weeks of the year, they say. Well, guess what? They are in our rear view now. We know all the conference champions, who's in, who's out for the playoff scene. We've got Travis, Lenardi, Berardi standing by. We're going to break down all the regions for our area teams. We had some surprising upsets tonight. We had 3 teams with an opportunity to go to 10-0, and guess what? Only one would survive the night. And we're going to begin with one of the teams that was unable to move on with an undefeated regular season, that being the Hillsdale Falcons. They have not beat the Norwayne Bobcats in over a decade. They had to go on the road to Crescent tonight, and this was one heck of a game, starting with an A.J. Brown field goal. This boot from 38 yards, and they would take the lead early on the road, but Norwayne immediately responding. Getting loose is Chaz Maxwell. He will burst 44 yards, get ghost here in spooky season, 7-3. Falcons offense unable to do anything. The Cats take over. They slowly march down the field. Cam Hackworth punches the ball in, a 1-yard score. They increase their lead up to 11, but it's Hillsdale's turn. Kel Lewis from 1 yard out here on the quarterback keeper. Missed PAT. It's 14-9. The Norwayne offense, though, they remained red hot in the first half, able to get another touchdown right before the half off a sliding 2-yard catch here from Cade Leach. 21-9 at the break. Bobcats in control, but third quarter, nothing but defense. So we fast forward you to the fourth. Hillsdale busted out some trickery. Kel Lewis flips to Owen Sloan, who throws it. Hayden McFadden brings it in, 3-yard touchdown. They convert the 2. It is 21-17 at this point, but the Bobcats able to burn down some clock, making their way down the field. Falcons defense holds. They get a field goal, but Carter Miller keeping it a 1-possession game. The throw deep here, 50-50 ball. It's intercepted at the end of the game, and that is pretty much how it would end. Hillsdale goes down 24-17. Norwayne are now your undisputed outright champs of the WCAL yet again. This is the second consecutive season that we've seen Hillsdale and Norwayne meet on the final day, week 10, and the Falcons cannot get the job done yet again. They still, though, have a great seeding that we're going to show you here in a second, but let's show you the WCAL final standings and how they ended up playing out. This is one of the best leagues that we had in North Central Ohio this year. You're talking about the cream of the crop up there in like the top 6 teams. Downton, obviously perennially a really good team, just went to a state final a couple of years ago. Smithville, very improved this year. You see even Rittman with 6 victories this season. The Falcons finishing 9-1, 7-0 though in the league for Norwayne, shaking off a bit of a slow start against some really good non-league competition. but they get the WCAL championship for a second consecutive year. As for the playoffs in Region 27 for the Falcons, they were the #1 seed to start the day. They already had it locked up regardless of what was going to happen tonight. And these are almost completely filled in. Hillsdale, though, is going to be the #1 seed. And I see Travis, he's making a lot of hand motions over there. Trav, what do you know about this region and Hillsdale locking in that top spot?
A lot tonight just to try and keep your voice
somewhat
somewhat because we got a district championship soccer match tomorrow. But coming into this week, Hillsdale had one thing to play for. They already locked up the 1 seed. It was the WCAL championship. They outscored Norwayne in the second half, but just was unable to do it. Now just you get a week to regroup, get ready. They are the 1 seed. You have a highlight later of a couple other teams, so I'm not going to really give it away yet who made it into the playoffs, but it's still, Joe Idle's still getting some scores in. Some spots are still to be determined, so we may have to come back to this region here later on in the show. But it is for sure the Hillsdale Falcons will be the #1 seed. We don't know the matchup for next week that would be who they would play yet. So we do know Hillsdale's the #1 seed, but not going to get the WCAL championship this year.
All right, Travis is going to be breaking down all the brackets for us throughout the course of the night. So we see the Falcons going for 10-0. They fall just short of that quest. The Shelby Whippets also had an opportunity to do that. They had to go on the road in Week 10 as well. They were in Marion tonight. So was Joshua Banks. And maybe a trap game, I think some people thought. Shelby, they've already clinched at least a share of the league. They, too, were the #1 seed in Region 14. But they sure didn't look like a team that didn't have anything to play for.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see on the highlights, Shelby is that team that's able to finish 10-0 in the regular season, and this is going to be how they do it. And who else? Braden DeVito to Brady Bowman from 44 yards out. The kid's speed is absolutely outstanding on the edge. That's the first score. They go for 2 and convert it. It's 8-0. Braden DeVito going to do what he's done all year. He's going to run this one in from 11. Makes it 15-0 after the field goal. Braden DeVito again. Hey, if you get inside the 10, just tell number 2 to keep it, as that one's from 5 yards out. They're up 3 scores, and it's still the first quarter. Now, just before half, a little motion right to left. DeVito's going to take a snap, and he's going to run in his 3rd score of the night. And the kid should be up for Mr. Football for a reason. Landon Keller, though, is going to say, hey, it's senior night for me. I'm going to punch one in. This score right here and the PAT after would make it missed 2-point conversion, would make it 30-6. Braden DeVito rolls right, finds him open, sits, and launches it into the end zone. Michael Shepard, they missed a couple times tonight. They don't miss right there. Shelby wins 37-6.
Really no surprise to me. I was watching Shelby practice the other night before a soccer match. They just have so much creativity within the offense. They just look so loose, and obviously they've got some prime-time players, Josh. We've been watching them all season long. This team, they started basically as the #1 team in the state from the beginning. They've given us no reason not to think that they are still that. What did you like most about what they presented tonight? Week 10 on the road against a bigger school, and 5 more touchdowns for DeVito. He's pretty special.
Yeah, 5 more touchdowns for DeVito, but we talk about Braden DeVito, we talk about Brady Bowman, Michael Shepard, Carter Kessler, Gavin Baker in this offense. The defense allowed 69 yards tonight of total offense for Harding. They came in as the #1 defense in the MLAC, allowing 10 points per game and 150 yards. And how about this? The Shelby Whippets, for the first time since 1968, start 10-0 for 2 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, they've been playing football down there for what, like 130 years. It's one of the oldest programs that we have in the state. And I think, yeah, this is their lowest scoring performance of the entire year, Josh. But defensively, it's where they've really stood out, because other than that game against the Galleon Tigers where they gave up 34, it's been everybody 14 points or less. So obviously they're going to get the headlines with offense, but this is a very well-balanced club. They're pretty good on special teams, too.
Yeah, special teams is great. Defense is great. And when you have the balance that they have, that's what's crucial. They balance it out tonight. And when you stop Braden DeVito and Brady Bowman through the air, which, remind you, everybody, nobody's been able to do yet this year, they have Gavin Baker and Sloan on the ground. They can beat you as well. They're one of the most balanced teams in all of their division. And it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can even give them a run for their money come playoff time.
Yeah, I was talking to Jake First, sports reporter for the News Journal the other day, and he said according to some calculations right now, Shelby is the biggest favorite to win their region of any team in the entire state of Ohio right now. We'll look at the region here in a second, but the team that gave them the best game so far this season, the Galleon Tigers, they had won 5 in a row coming into tonight, and they were looking to really cap off a regular season against a Clear Fork team that thought they could prove that they were the second best in the MOAC. So I think there was a lot of juice behind this. Each of these teams had a lot to play for tonight over at Anchorage Stadium, and it would start with Aiden Schmidt throwing it up deep, double coverage. What a catch. Couple of defenders bump into each other. That's Kane Hay on the other end. They would go on top 7-0 early in this game. And look at this connection. Schmidt to Hay again. They would miss the PAT. It's 13-zip, but you already know that the Colts are going to come back. Marcus Hoflick, a dot to Devin Oswalt, 13-7, but Schmidt gets it in late. 27 Tigers. They take care of business at home, Josh. And I think that they were the team that you would most say out of these two that they might have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, or at least they wanted to showcase that they were the best defense in the MOAC, maybe not named Shelby this year, and to hold Clear Fork to just 7 points, who's been on a little bit of a rough patch here lately. But I thought that they did kind of prove something, at least to me tonight.
Well, and not just a chip on their shoulder, but they know what region they're in. They know what lies ahead if they can get there. And they feel like, we talked about it, they gave Shelby the best game of the year. And in the back of their minds, they should have beat them. They were up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. Shelby did Shelby things, ends up winning that game. Galleon runs the table after that handily, other than the Harding game. And now we're all looking forward to it, and we're hoping it happens, a regional championship between Galleon and Shelby, and what a contest that would be. And now it's kind of a clear path that is what should happen.
Yeah, multiple score victories every single week for the Tigers, with the exception of that was a strange one last week on the road at Harding, a game that you saw with your own eyes. But not every team is going to be able to bring it every single week. But it looked like the pickle juice it might have picked in for the Tigers tonight as they knock off the Colts. And speaking of the Colts, they dipped to 6-4, and they're losers in 3 of their last 4 now, Josh. So this is a team that I have seen 5 times this season, and they were so good early on. They had this belief system. They were multi-dimensional on offense. Marcus Hoflick, to me, he looked like he really took a big step up in his junior campaign at the quarterback position. So how do you make heads or tails of, obviously a lot of teams are going to lose to Shelby and Galleon, but then the Highland loss, and it was a big game senior night for them, and they can't get that one done in overtime. What are your expectations for this team as you move forward now into week 11?
Yeah, I mean, on the Clear Fork side of things, you have the big upset week 1 over Perkins, who runs the table pretty much to win their conference. You have to continue to play your brand of football. I feel like against Highland, we talked about it last week, they changed their brand of football. They moved some guys to different positions, and that might have, almost cost them that game, an upset. You come in tonight, in Galleon, trying to pull off what would have been a huge win and boosted you in the playoffs. You get kind of manhandled almost 20-7. You've got to bounce back in week 11, and you've got to go back to competing and playing Colts football.
The Colts are in the playoffs. That we can tell you, folks. So let's show you how as we look at region number 14 here now, Travis. And Clear Fork, they needed a win to guarantee a home game, but it looks like even with the loss on the road tonight, they're probably going to be hosting, and a pretty good team that we're going to showcase here coming up on our highlights.
So, yeah, let's start from the top. We know Shelby's won. Bath was the another score. We should have the score up here actually on the scoreboard. Bath needed to lose. They did. So that clinches the number 2 spot for Galleon. You move down to number 5. Now, right now it says Bay and Perkins 6-7. Well, they don't have Perkins win over Columbian in there yet. Joe Idle working as hard as he can right now, folks. Joe Idle's the man. He's trying to get all these scores in as quick as possible. But I can tell you, Perkins beat Columbian. They jumped to the 6th spot. Base 7, Clear Fork has officially clinched a home game. They are 8. Now 9, 10, and 11, it's going to come down to bonus points. Not every game's filled in yet, so bonus points. But if it were to stay, yeah, Orville will be making the trip down to the Colt Corral. And that, I have the highlight coming up for you after the commercial break. And I'm telling you, Orville, they're on a run. That could be the minor upset special of this region, but I'm not going to completely give it away yet. So they're right there. Clyde, I believe, is going to slip in. It was Clyde and Vermilion were fighting for the 12th spot. That also is going to come down to bonus points, and because Clyde, they had one game that needed to be put in yet, that team won, so they'll be the 12th seed over Vermilion. So look for that. But then Clear Fork, possibly Orville, the winner would then head to Shelby.
Uh-oh. But I think everybody in that region's kind of thinking, uh-oh, if they see Shelby's coming up on the other side.
At least that's what a normal bracket goes. I don't know for sure how the bracket's going to fill out for 1 through 4, but I'm guessing the 8-9 matchup goes to the number 1 seed, right?
You would
I
think
guess
that's how
we
it
don't
works. You would think
I don't know.
that's how it has to
I'm
work.
trying to think, run through this right now. But yeah, so we have 3 MOAC squads that'll be hosting in either week 11 or 12, which is pretty cool. And as always, in the MOAC, a very tough conference.
Yes, and we had one more team that they were a sliver away from getting into the postseason. They needed to get a victory tonight, Josh. That being the Ontario Warriors. They were at home against a River Valley team that's been struggling, certainly on defense.
Yeah, River Valley struggled all year defensively, and Ontario would take advantage of that tonight as you see River Valley coming out, Ontario as well, and it would be Ontario striking first. As this is River Valley, backdoor Carter Myers, that young man has had a phenomenal season for his first year back to football, but it doesn't matter as you're going to see Max Ciroli run one into the end zone, and it is 14-7 Warriors. And then how about this young man, Cooper Kilgore, 98-yard house call, untouched up the middle. That young man is special, and I can't wait to watch him keep going, and that's not going to be the last time I call his name. But first, River Valley, or actually, here we go. There goes Kilgore again.
Yeah,
Another touchdown. Hey, Kilgore is not done ever when he's in the game. As here, you're going to see Remy roll right, throw one up. Trendon Flannery.
Bombastic.
When they're throwing the ball, they're dangerous.
Deja vu. I
All
got that good
over
old-fashioned
again.
feeling, baby.
How about we watch it a second time, folks? And that's a great throw. And then you're going to see Max Ciroli going again from 32 yards out. And that would be your final, folks. Ontario sneaks in, taking care of River Valley by a final of 44-14. And when this offense is rolling, watch out.
4 out of the last 5, the Warriors had to get them all in order to get into the postseason. Their only loss there, of course, to the Shelby Whippets. And that was a little bit of foreshadowing there, Josh.
Yeah.
And I guess we've already got it on the headline. But Travis, it sounds like the Warriors, they're going to be dancing in week 11, huh?
So right now the brackets aren't completely filled out right there. 1 through 10 is set, but Ontario with the win, Midview currently ahead of them in Region 10, by the way, D3 Region 10. Ontario, Midview, they're completely in at 5-5. Ontario 6-4, but the Pleasant Highland game has not been inputted yet into Joe Idle. Once that is, Ontario is actually going to jump up to the 11th spot, so they get to avoid Toledo Central Catholic. They will take on Rocky River on the road. The only other 2 teams that could have jumped them, Maumee lost to Eastwood, and then, like I said, Columbian lost to Perkins. So the Warriors, that's a 4th MOAC team we have going into the postseason. They're a sneaky squad as well. I can't wait to see what they do against Rocky River.
Yeah, so young, mostly sophomores. A lot of the players that you just saw in that highlight, of course, are not going to be graduating for a couple of years. Cooper Kilgore, crazy night, big-time statistics. And the MOAC, an awesome league this year, as you mentioned. We'll show you the final standings now for the league. We knew that Shelby had clinched at least a share coming into tonight with their victory. They are 10-0. They take the crown all to themselves. The Tigers, the runners-up, and then Clear Fork, 3 losses over the last 4 weeks within the league. But as we already showed you, they're in the postseason playing in week number 11. So that second season gets an opportunity to kick in for them. And it's a great chance to try to get some redemption, I think, Josh, for the Colts. That might be the number one word that would come to mind. The Tigers and Whippets, they're going to be just waiting and watching in week 11.
Yeah, they're going to wait and watch, and Coach Mahaney really excited knowing that not only do they have a chance to host in week 12, but if they win week 12, they'll host again in week 13. And he is super excited. The new beautiful Shelby Whippet Athletic Complex, 2 playoff games there, and probably a regional final with how nice that place is this year. I can't wait. And 4 MOAC teams in the playoffs?
Yes, sir.
KMAC, great. N10, lots of teams. How about North Central Ohio football this year?
Yeah, it's been pretty darn good. I'm glad that you brought up the KMAC because Travis sitting over the corner, he's going to take it over. He was back at the castle tonight, so he's got those KMAC vibes again. But Trav, we're going to begin with you with the game of the night in the league for all the marbles.
Yeah, shout out Rochelle Salmons. I am still talking about the KMAC, and I'm going to talk about your Centerburg Trojans. Freddie Berg coming up. Not only are they playing for the Freddie Berg Trophy, which I had the privilege to help unveil back a couple years ago, but also playing for the KMAC Championship. We'll break it down. Centerburg wins, outright champs. Fredericktown wins, Mount Gilead, Fredericktown both get a share. First quarter, hey, Hayden Love getting some love here from Blaine Ball. 6-0 touchdown pass, Berg on top. Second quarter now, action. Some defense playing early on, but it's Blaine Ball. I'm just going to keep it myself because I was a rushing leader for a while. He may break back into it after this performance. 9 yards out, it's 12-0. And then Miles Marshall, who was the 5th leading rusher in all the area, he gets in as well. It's 20-0. Blaine Ball 2-point conversion, good. Now we head to there's the 2-point conversion, actually. Now we head to the fourth quarter. Trojans just trying to lock up the win. It's Miles Marshall once. I mean, look how elusive he is. Dragging a defender into the end zone, 28-0. And then Sean Carter, who you may see him a little bit later, little foreshadowing, into the end zone for the touchdown. You never know. He might be another Phenom nominee or another top play nominee. You know, he had a great job last week, but he scores as well. 34-0. Running clock, Freddie Berg victory for the Trojans. They lock up an outright KMAC championship. Their one loss in week 2 to Johnstown Monroe. But, I mean, it was complete dominance by the Centerburg Trojans here tonight. And I'm going to welcome in the other member of the KMAC corner. That is Jonathan Langdon. And Jonathan, were you expecting anything else out of this game between Fredericktown and Centerburg? I thought the Freddies were going to put up a fight, but the Centerburg defense, something we don't talk about a ton, coming up big tonight.
I said it last week that there was a clear tier of 8-1 teams in the KMAC, and we saw why tonight. That Centerburg team, I think it's going to go down, especially in the time that I've covered the KMAC, as one of the most dominant teams ever to come out of the league. And we're going to see that kind of come to fruition in the postseason, I believe. But Centerburg taking on Fredericktown in this rivalry, I really expected Fredericktown to put some points on the board, but that defense is really starting to improve these last couple of weeks. And just as good as the offense, they were held under 40 for the first time in 7 weeks, but Centerburg right at 34. They still got plenty of momentum going into the postseason.
Yeah, they've only given up 26 points in the last multiple weeks there. They're just really, really good. They got the two-headed rushing attack. Hayden Love, when they need him to catch some balls down the field, they have him as well. But just such a complete team. And when we look at the bracket, the Joe Idle standings here in a little bit, it's going to show that they are probably one of the clear-cut favorites in Region 23. But let's head up to Region 27 because you had another hard-hitting rivalry up on the new turf at Tough Street Stadium.
That I did, and I want to give a shout-out to East Knox and Danville celebrating their 65th Devil Dog game with 11-on-11 players, and we got a good one over there tonight at Tough Street if you were a Danville Blue Devil fan. Want to shout out also Aiden Riggle. They've been raising funds for him all season long. How about another $6,700 thanks to Howard Hilton and then also Jamie Fehrenbaugh and the family there making a donation. You see on your screen right now, and what was the 1960 squad that started everything that was able to join the teams on the coin toss and then get into the game. Cy Wallace gets things started. That's not going to be the last time you hear that name here tonight. He was all over the field, but also, how about Nolan Ridgway getting taken out as the starting QB halfway through the season? Since then, he scored touchdowns in 5 straight weeks. Great adjustment from him, the junior new back. How about to the old back, the speedster in Cy Wallace gets his second touchdown, turning the corner there on East Knox. It would be 24-0 at the half. Let's take it to the third. Jack Lester, well, I thought he was going to go down, but all of a sudden he pops out and gets the first touchdown of this game thanks to the entourage that takes them to the end zone. That'd be their first score of the night. 24-6, didn't get the 2-point conversion. Back to Danville. Blue Devils, are they back? Could they be back? Well, Cy Wallace, we saw how special he was in the postseason, and it's just about that time as he gets his third touchdown of the game right here in the third with 7 minutes to go in it. East Knox had a great third quarter. They put 2 straight drives together where they were able to get into the end zone. Landon Boyd caps the second score off here, and that would make it 38-12. Wallace, however, back at it. 180 all-purpose yards, make it 4 touchdowns on the night for the sophomore, stealing the show for a second straight year on senior night. And now the freshman getting a chance to throw this ball deep. He finds Aiden Mickley, and he will scamper into blue turf. Final score tonight, 52-12. Danville gets a statement win, and they are going to be cooking into the postseason. We were wondering over at Tough Street, was it going to be a home game? Well, not enough points from East Knox. Odds are they'll just have to go on the road and make a statement. But the way they played tonight, they could be one of those teams across the state that everybody looks at with a low seeding and says, wait, how are they making a run right now? But we just know that Danville is different because they just made a state Final Four last year. They lost some big pieces, but here they are now starting to put it all together. And we could see if that comes into a playoff run.
Absolutely, Jonathan. And you know what? Yeah, they weren't, no matter what, they were going to sit from 10 to out in that region right now. And I mean, other than facing a Hillsdale squad, I believe Danville could be one of those teams that could beat anybody else in that region.
Yeah, 100%. And then we also have a couple of other teams in the area that we have gotten to see. Danville beat Lucas earlier on in the year. And with that Lucas win over Crestline that we're going to talk about later on, that could be an interesting sort of note that Lucas ends up with the higher seed. But nonetheless, this Danville team, they had a couple of rough losses, but they also had a good schedule that they played against. So kudos to Danville coming out, getting a 40-point win over your rival. That's the biggest thing here tonight as they win their 45th game in the Devil Dog series. And then also, before we toss it over to some other teams, I want to give a shout out to both of the new ADs. I put a post out today on our Facebook just giving them some love because they have been all over Knox County this week getting ready for this Devil Dog game. And it was a great time. And also shout out to Matt Bloom. Got myself a helmet for the setup.
That's awesome. Yeah, Coach Bloom and company, also Coach Beatty down at East Knox. They're great people. It's a shame that East Knox, the record ended up that way because they had some playmakers there. Just everything couldn't get together.
Yeah, 4 games they lost by 10 points or fewer, and honestly, 3 of the 4, I think they could have easily won. They had a 1-point loss to Cardington, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, they had a 1-point loss I saw against Northridge week 1 of the year. If those turn around, those could turn into some other wins down the road where some of those other blowouts that they got end up being a little bit closer and they could maybe sneak away. It's very similar to what I saw out of Mount Gilead last year when they went 4-6. They turned it around this year, obviously, going 9-1. We're going to talk about that in a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can East Knox do the same? Maybe, but Mount Gilead, East Knox, we'll find out. Next year's going to be fun.
Yeah, another team that still had a chance, if you want to stick with us here for a moment, Jonathan, as we show our next highlight. Northmore Golden Knights still had a small chance of making it into the postseason. And with senior night, however, they took on Loudonville. Could they get the win? Loudonville's been competing as of late. 4 games, their last 4 games were decided by 1 score or less. Let's roll it right now. Senior night at the Castle. Seniors showed out too. Chase Wright getting pressured, throws a prayer. It would not be answered because Carson Campbell with the pick. He's going the other way. Pick 6 just like that, 7-0 Northmore. Ensuing kickoff, however, Colin Cayley is going to bounce to the outside and take off like he just stole something. He's going to go 81 yards to tie things right back up. 1 minute, 44 seconds into the game, 7-7. But back come the Golden Knights. It's going to be Campbell, this time on the ground from 6 yards out. 13-7 home team after 1. Second quarter after Northmore turnover, Cayley off the right side from 6 yards out. Again, we are tied at 13 after the missed extra point. But right before the half, Tanner Miley doing Miley things that he's been doing all year long, finds Connor Stockdale for the touchdown, 20-13 at the half. Midway through the third, Campbell, he's going to continue to stack up fantasy points. Muscles in from 3 out, 2-score lead for Northmore. They scored again, but Kaylee's going to kick. Why do you kick it to him? Up the middle, untouched. He's off again, this time from 80 yards away. Kick 6, 34-19. But Miley will answer back with the final score. Bumps out to the right side and into the end zone. Northmore wins at 41-19. Now, why am I showing you right here just a group of people? Well, the guy on the left side shaking hands, that's offensive coordinator Nate Hall. He just proposed to his girlfriend right before this was filmed. She said yes. Celebrations were had all over North Bloomfield Township. Congratulations to Coach Hall. I know you guys are watching right now too, so I had to get that shout out in there. But the Golden Knights win. Coach Hall now locked up by a great cornerback in his girlfriend, who will now be his fiance as well. But the Golden Knights win, but I'll show you they did not make it into the postseason, Jonathan. However, a team that did and has a very good chance of making it into Week 12, as we pull up, let's pull up the WCAL, the KMAC standings first, Jonathan, and show you the official champs, the Centerburg Trojans, but Mount Gilead, one game back at 6-1. And I can tell you, Mount Gilead, they still have a chance at getting that Week 12 football game at Mount Gilead. How cool of an atmosphere is that going to be, Jonathan? Week 12 in Mount Gilead, or even if it's Week 11 hosting a home game.
It's going to be absolutely amazing because Mount Gilead, they've had this coming for so many years. They've been able to build. I talked to a couple Danville coaches tonight talking about Mount Gilead. That O-line looks like a college team, and they're going to get a chance to show that they are more than that 9-1. It's just the fact that this Mount Gilead team was able to fight and go from 4-6 last year with a couple tough losses to 9-1. I'm so excited to see how far they go with Coach Mike Reed. And then also just looking at some of the other teams, it's a shame that Northmore is in such a good region to where they cannot make the playoffs. And part of that reason, when I saw that Northmore was going to be awfully close to make the playoffs and Loudonville wasn't going to get them a ton of points, I almost put my 28-0 pick streak on jeopardy and picked the Redbirds to try and make some noise in Region 27. I'm glad I didn't end up going that direction because I did get the perfect picks. But Northmore, great season for them. Mount Gilead, excited to see where they go. Let's jump into that Region 23. Centerburg, with a win, I knew right away with a win they were going to seal that number 1 seed. So great to see them up over 20 points, by the way, as they will secure the top spot.
They just needed the win. They got that. Now, Fort Fry did win, so they locked up the 2. Now, from 3 down to about 6, it's up to bonus points. Right now, because of Danville's win over East Knox, Mount Gilead jumps back over Colonel Crawford for that final spot. Crawford beat East Knox earlier, but because Danville beat East Knox in bonus points, that is worth more. So Mount Gilead right now at 4, it's going to come down to literally tenths of points to see if the Indians can host, and they may very well do it. West Jefferson has clinched the bye, so it's that 4 seed depending between Mount Gilead, Crawford, and Toronto. You head down, Martins Ferry and Eastern are fighting for that 12th spot. Ski Stall, the Purple Riders run all over Lucas earlier this season, so that might be a matchup for anybody that gets that 5 seed coming back up here. But it's looking like some good teams at the top, including 2 KMAC squads that could be playing already in Week 12.
Yeah, so congratulations to all the KMAC teams making the postseason. So we got Centerburg, Mount Gilead, Fredericktown, Danville going to be in there as well. So that's 4 of the 8, and that's a really good number for a league that has really stepped up from top to bottom. There were no gimmies this year in the KMAC. Just a round of applause to everybody, whether you made the postseason or not. It was a great year overall.
And a round of applause to you, Brian, everybody else. We've had a long week of calling stuff. Volleyball, soccer, and you're not done yet. Me and Brian aren't done yet. You got a match tomorrow as well, so I'm going to let you get some rest and get ready for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Langdon, the new face of the KMAC. Have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Brian, I am right there with you. We're going to get through this together. Have a great weekend.
Keep sipping that tea, Mr. Skowronski. I will take us to break, though. We will take a break. When we come back, Ski will have your top plays in Phenoms winner, as well as some more highlights. And don't forget, at the end, we've got a little partying we got to do as well. We'll be back right here on the Friday Night Pigskin.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid-Ohio job market, and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
Hi guys, I need you all to have a foam finger. At Mechanics Bank, we're all about the community. Whether it's supporting our local teams or cheering you on in life, we're here for you in every victory, big or small. Mechanics Bank. That's better.
At Avita Home Health and Hospice, our caring professionals are ready to serve you with personally tailored services designed to meet the unique needs of each individual. When we take on a patient at Avita Home Health and Hospice, they really do feel like family. So when we take care of our family, we want to take care of the whole person. So we take care of them from our nurses, our aides, our physical, occupational, and speech therapists, but we also have people that tend to their hearts. So we have social workers, we have chaplains, and people that can help with the emotional side of their care.
At Avita Home Health and Hospice, we have a dedicated team that takes care of you. Caring for the whole person is our promise to you. From social and emotional well-being to the way the patient relates to their loved ones, we treat your family like our family.
Serving patients and their families wherever they call home, including assisted living facilities and nursing homes. Call 1-800-4NURSES to see if Avita can help administer your plan of custom care.
In business and ag banking, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the people. At First Federal Community Bank, we believe relationships are the foundation of every successful partnership. We can help you grow your farm through various ag programs, including working with our local FSA offices, as well as Farmer Mac. We have many commercial business programs to help make your day-to-day operations easy and convenient. Because when you bank with us, you're not just a customer, you're family.
When it comes to comfort, every degree matters. At Buckeye Horizon, we proudly install and maintain Trane heating and cooling systems built to last, engineered for performance. And with our expert service, your home stays comfortable year-round. No matter the season, we'll keep your system running at its best. Call Buckeye Horizon at 419-529-2738, your local Trane comfort specialist.
might already be over, but I'm not ready for the regular season to wrap up. So can we go back to week number 9 when things were so great? Because we had some awesome phenoms, and you, the fans, you showed out in a big way. Let's show you who you chose as your winner for week number 9. And we got to go down with the Berg again, Sean Carter. Hey, Mr. Carter, breaking off a big touchdown run right here. He had 3 of them. He only touched the ball 5 times. This guy was crazy. 164 yards, and the senior just doing serious damage in a win on the road against the East Knox Bulldogs. Sean Carter is your winner from week number 9. Show me the vote, man. Let's see it. All right, so a pretty good chunk there. You see Sean, of course, he is the yellow contingent of the pizza pie. We had some other good runners-up. It looked like Andon Klaus, probably number 2 choice, followed by number 5, Hillsdale's Owen Sloan. That's right, Falcons fans always vote big time. Mr. Klaus, too, a quality runner-up, but Sean Carter with 36% of the votes. He brings home the bacon. Now it is time for your top play of the week from week number 9. We had some pretty cool individual efforts this past week, but we are going with this one, or at least you guys are, the voters. We've got Horn going vertical after he swirls to the outside. He puts it up deep, and guess who's on the horn? Great catch the other way. And we'll show it to you one more time. The win for Monroeville on the road at Crestview. It was a big game, of course, in the Firelands Conference, and the Eagles would go on to win the league thanks to this aerial attack right here, the connection from Clark to Horn. And this is how it all broke down. This was obviously a much tighter race. Good denominations kind of all the way around there. 29% of the vote almost goes to the Monroeville duo, hooking up on that touchdown right there. But there were several others in the mix this past week as well. Looked like Galleon's Schmidt to Hay would finish as runner-up, followed by the Mohawk Philly Special. All right, speaking of special, there was an awesome game tonight over at Red Ryder Stadium. A lot of people were talking to me about it this week, and Orville is brand new to our coverage area. Travis, you have seen them in person a couple of times this year, but they haven't probably quite played an opponent like Triway that was on the road. A great rivalry in the pack, and this one did not disappoint.
Especially after last week, the last-second touchdown against Manchester that really shook up the pack standings. Could Orville do it once again on senior night at Red Ryder Stadium? There they are. Look at all those nice family members with the players all ready to go. But it was Triway that was off to a good start. Luke Starr acting like a star to Flinner. 48-yard touchdown pass. What a catch. 7-0. Moved to the second quarter, and starring again in this clip. Watch him juke through and then just hit the boost. 40-yard keeper. It is 14-0 at the half. And look, we've got a dancing shark. It's like Katy Perry back in the Super Bowl once again. Flying around there. Adam Thompson, our producer, loved this production so much he texted me during my game just to gloat about how great it was. I mean, look at it run. Anyway, let's run to the third quarter. And Orville finally getting in. Braylon McDuffie, I've been big on him all year long. Makes a catch so good that the wall got in the way, makes it 14-7. Next, it's a keeper. Triway, Luke Starr, right back at you, dives into the end zone from 6 yards out, 21-7. And then if that was so good, hey, let's just do it again on the other side. Luke Starr, this time from 7 yards out. He's going to juke back. He's going to get into the end zone. It's 27-14. Okay, maybe this isn't going to be a game. Actually, it is. After 2 Orville touchdowns canceled out by penalties, it's going to be Case McDaniel, the other wide receiver, wide open into the end zone. It's 27-21 after this play. Get down the left side. What a catch again. Into the end zone. Actually, I think he stepped out right there, but it will set this up right here. Case McDaniel, back throw into the end zone. That makes it 27-21. Is that the comeback? Can it be complete? Well, it will not be complete. Here is that touchdown pass. Those are the other two that got called back. My apologies, but that one actually did get called for the touchdown, but it was too little too late, Brian, as Orville falls to Triway. Triway wins the PAC championship 27-21, but Orville, we said they may be traveling to Clear Fork. We still have to figure out once that gets completed in Region 14, but as of right now, Triway also, with the win in Region 18, the same region that Fredericktown's in, they clinched the number 2 spot. They clinch a bye in week number 11. They're going to week number 12 as Liberty Center wins the outright number 1 spot. There's Triway right there. And we also talked about Fredericktown. The loss to Centerburg dropped them out of hosting. They are now having to travel in week number 11.
Yeah, Triway's having an awesome season, of course. The 9-1. I believe they are the PAC champions this year. Only loss on the year to Northwest, a 3-point game. They've been on a nice tear here. But you like what you see from Orville, playing with some pride, especially on senior night in front of their home fans. And it's going to be interesting to see how they end up playing when they get into the tournament, and I would love to see that matchup if they do travel to the Colt Corral coming up in week number 11. But speaking of senior night, that was the situation over at Bob Wine Field tonight for the Lucas Cubs. They've got the longest running playoff streak going in North Central Ohio. They had to win to get in. On the flip side, if Crestline won, they were guaranteed to get a home spot in week number 11. A loss, and we're not quite sure in Region 27. Opening drive of the game, Cubs march right down the field. They made it look easy. This is an 18-yard touchdown run from Tim Daly. They go for 2. They don't get it. It's 6-zip. Ensuing Bulldogs possession. Cody Lawhorn throws it deep, and Daly makes a great play on it, setting up what would be the first of 3 Brady Gold touchdowns at the end of that drive. They do get the 2. It is 14-0. Here comes the second Gold score. This one just running through, kids. That's from 16 yards away. It was 22-zip. This is only a couple minutes into the second quarter. Very next Crestline snap, it's Daly again. Overthrown. The receiver loses his footing. The Cubs would score right before half on a short tutty run to make it 30-zip. Giegold already has a touchdown hat trick. Now Daly is about to have a trifecta of picks. What a night for this kid. He is my Friday night phenom. I've got an interview that I'm going to post with him as well coming up. And then they cap off the night with a really fun drive. A Legacy Gross hasn't played offense all year. They feature him on this drive and give it to him 4 plays in a row, and he takes them right down the field. He shows out 37-0. The Cubs, they look like a team determined. Talking to Tim Daly, who's a senior after the game, he says, we have been fighting for our lives the last 3 weeks. What have they done? Win, win, win at home, and they were a little unsure if they were going to get in the playoffs. And what's so crazy, Travis, about Region 27 that we're about to look at, the Cubs with the loss were for sure going to be out of the postseason. With the win, they could be as high as 5th in Region 27, and I already kind of broke it down for the Dogs. They could be as high as 4th or drop all the way out. And look at this. Lucas, you're in the postseason, boys.
Yes, sir.
We didn't know for sure during our post-game interview, but the Cubs, they are in 12 consecutive years for Lucas. Again, that's the longest running streak that we have in North Central Ohio. And as of this second, right now, 2 scores are not in Region 27, but Crestline, they are dangling by the thread right now at the 12th spot.
Now, if you guys watched on Thursday afternoon on my playoff talk during the Crunchy Roads rankings, I said you needed Fairfield Christian Academy and South Gallia to lose. Fairfield Christian Academy got beat by Grove City Christian. That's 1 check for Crestline. The other one, South Gallia, still that score is not out in there yet because I believe Trimble, their Federal Hawking game isn't in there, but Trimble was highly favored. So it's going to come down. If somebody has that South Gallia score, if you want to put it in the comments section, that's the difference between Crestline probably making it and not making it. Lucas right now, there's still bonus points to be had, but as of right now, Lucas does sit at number 8.
They just dropped.
Yeah, they just dropped down to number 8. Actually, update, they just dropped the 9th. So they're 9th, Danville's 10th at this moment, but it's still not completely locked in because more bonus points could be coming, and they could jump back and forth. But that's how flowing this thing is so far. We don't know. We do know for sure Lucas is in. We do know for sure Danville is in. Danville, though, will be on the road. That's an official Joe Idol. Now they could be either 10th, they could even be down to 12th. So Danville will be on the road. Lucas anywhere between 7 and 11 right now. Crestline, that's still up for grabs. And then we already talked about Hillsdale. They are the number 1 seed.
Speaking of number 1 seeds, Travis, we had one on the road tonight, the Big Walnut Golden Eagles, and already solidified, or at least if they got a win, they would for sure clinch the number 1 seed in their region, that being Region 7 in Division number 2. Bryce Coder was down in Columbus tonight for that game, and obviously there was a lot to play for Big Walnut to secure the number 1 overall seed. Bryce, how did the Golden Eagles look in your eyes tonight?
Oh, they fared out perfect tonight. It was a fantastic game for them. I mean, just scoring early on in the first 2.5 minutes and never looking back. Had a total of 8 touchdowns on the night, and I feel like I'd have to say it, but who else would get us started other than Nolan Burley with a 46-yard touchdown, 9 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and we're already underway. Now Eli Stumpf rolling out to his left finds Owen Pollock on the diving grab in the end zone. They would go on to get the 2-point conversion there. Jackson Bowers, another tight end. Eli Stumpf's second of 4 passing touchdowns on the night. Here's another one coming at you inside the red zone this time, though not airing it out as long, but they do find Brody Hatfield, who trips up the backfield and finds his way into the end zone in the center of the hash marks. Now it's back to the Nolan Burley show, this time for 50 yards on the hurdle, doing the 50-yard dash. And to top it all off, he said, I am not done. This time he's going to go for 75 yards, going right back to the hurdle. Wow. Following a couple of blockers, shakes the tackler, sees the end zone, and seizes the end zone on the 75-yard touchdown run. But going to the third quarter with 1:17 left, we've got a running clock. Still looking for the end zone, though. Eli Stumpf finding Owen Pollock, who fights. Is he in? Is he? Yes, he is, they say. Owen Pollock's second touchdown of the night. And then going with the substitution, but Gage Eckelbarger, younger guy, getting a look at the running back position. He caps out the Golden Eagles' night at 56. The time actually expired on that touchdown. Golden Eagles wanting to go for the point after, but the referee's saying, no, I think we've had enough here.
Yeah, I think they did their damage, Bryce. That's a season high in points scored for the Eagles tonight, 56. I want you to talk specifically to me about the quarterback play in Eli Stumpf, because early in the year, it felt like it was more Nolan Burley kind of carrying the offensive load. The second half of the season, they're very balanced, man. The passing game, it's come alive.
Oh, definitely. Coming into tonight, he had 12 passing touchdowns, ended up with 16 total on the regular season after tonight's performance. 156 yards passing, 12 for 15 completions. I mean, coming into tonight's game, he had a 68% completion rating. Last week's game, he was coming in with a 71% completion rating, and they are really allowing him to do what he pleases in the pocket.
And they would actually, Bryce, lock up the number 1 seed as we projected. Let's show you what it's shaking out like right now in region number 7. And you see Ashland, who was the number 2 seed. They lost on the road at Lexington tonight. We've had that score flipping through a few times in the OCC. So shout out to Lexington, your OCC champions. But for Big Walnut, big time points they put up on the board tonight, Bryce. But this is now the 7th time over the last 9 weeks that they've given up 7 points or less on defense. So it's not just all about the offense that's averaging well over 35 points per game. This is a team that they're dominant on both sides of the football, and I think they're a true number 1 seed and probably should be a big favorite to walk away with this title.
Without a doubt, and looking at the scores across all the games, I mean, they're beating opponents 363-90 after tonight, and it really is a testament not only to the offense but to the defense as well, and how well they're able to contain not only runners but now passers. I mean, that was something I was worried about coming into tonight's game. I thought it was going to be a closer game. Westland is a team that stuck around against teams like Worthington, Kilbourne. They've picked up some good quality wins during the regular season, but kind of the kryptonite at points for Big Walnut has been the two-way dual threat quarterbacks where they can throw the ball, and that's what this quarterback can really do. He had 26 passing touchdowns coming into tonight's game, but he can also run the ball, and that sometimes stretches the Big Walnut defense. At times, the QB spy can be a little bit challenged because they're so forward in what they're trying to do. But tonight, I mean, it was just flawless.
And since they're locking up the number 1 seed now, Bryce, what do we do with you in Week 11? Obviously, the Eagles are going to be at home. They're going to be watching the rest of the competition. You're the voice of Big Walnut. We got to find something for you to do, probably. Maybe a game, a night off. What are you thinking for next Friday right now?
I don't know. I mean, all sort of sports in the area, soccer, field hockey. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a Friday off in a while.
That's fair, but we're probably going to put you to work, Bryce. So come on. Let's not get crazy here, man. I see that you've got the fun-looking shelf behind you on the top shelf there that maybe you can dive into. But let's do that now after the party, and we'll get you back to work next Friday, man.
I appreciate it. I'll see you.
All right, Bryce Coder, of course, the voice of the Big Walnut Eagles, and my producer is just laughing over here. He's like, well, if he's the voice, he should probably give you some. Yeah, I've been sipping on my tea. All right, another Eagle team that had a chance to lock up a conference championship tonight was on the road. Great rivalry game, Monroeville and St. Paul. And typically, we throw it out to the she shed, and it looks like that's where my man's at again, Chris. Looks like you're chilling pretty comfy tonight. Or is this the she shed? It's a little bit different background behind you.
No, we're going living room today, prepping for the Lexington Maumee game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. See who moves on to a regional championship. But I'm concerned with the Firelands Conference in the football, not the football tonight, Chris. This is a good rivalry. Two teams, separated by less than 10 miles. So there's probably not a lot of love lost when these two programs get together.
No, I mean, it was a packed house today. It brings back memories of the old days as you see the Flyers on senior night coming in here, the Eagles taking the field, and St. Paul got off to a fast start. They go here with a Landon Freeze 4-yard touchdown run. St. Paul would go on to score their first 3 possessions. Monroeville would score on their first 2 possessions. And here's one of them. This is a 71-yard catch to Chase Horn, who ended up being our Savista Wealth Management MVP tonight. And Horn outruns the Flyer defense. And after the PAT, we were tied at 7. That would then lead to a St. Paul, and again, I think Josh Banks labeled this last year, but there he is around Halloween time. Nick Hocus Pocus takes it all the way down to the 1-yard line. That was a 42-yard, takes it down to the 11-yard line. And on the next play, Grant Coonley would hook up with Connor Lindenberger. Great timing play from 11 yards out, and the Flyers would lead at 14-7. Still just 6 minutes gone in the game, so each team taking about 2 drives. Here you would end up with a 27-yard touchdown pass, Connor Clark to Maverick Myers. The PAT was no good, and St. Paul would lead 14-13 with 2 minutes, or with St. Paul. We missed a touchdown there as Jory was helping me as we had to lose our signal, but there, Connor Clark to Ethan Pomerich from 6 yards. It was 21-19 St. Paul after they missed the 2. Here we go back the other way with a pass to Pomerich. He takes it all the way down to the 1-yard line, and on the first play of the fourth quarter, Cooper Cleary would take it in, and they would add a 2-point conversion, and they would take their first lead now and lead it 28-20. Or 27-21. Here, Coonley, the quarterback, finds a Lindenberger with a great catch. He's able to hang on in double coverage there. Griffin would add his 4th PAT. St. Paul would lead it now And then here with 21 seconds, you'll see the play that made it. Colton Clark finds that man again. Chase Horn taps his toes in the back of the end zone. And with 14 seconds, Monroeville gets the game winner. Last year, it came down to no time left on the clock. This year, 14 seconds left on the clock. And here, for good measure, you see St. Paul trying to throw one up, and the Eagles start to celebrate their 7-0 Firelands Conference season.
These matchups have ended the last 2 years, Chris. I mean, the St. Paul, of course, gets it last year. Monroeville ends up getting the victory this season. So, I mean, there's a lot of juice behind it. You're living right in the middle, about 3 miles away there from Contractor Stadium. What can you say just about the environment, these two communities, and just this back and forth ping pong that they've had over the last couple of years, and just a big ball of emotion, really, just kind of ripping a victory away from each team at the end of the night?
Well, fall sports for these two teams have been fantastic over the last several years. Both volleyball teams have already qualified for the regional. I did want to say, Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. St. Paul, even with the loss today, they make their 14th straight appearance now in the OHSA playoffs. I believe they're going to finish 9th and have a trip to Warren JFK in week 11. Monroeville will get the first round bye now and finish 4th in Division 7, Region 25.
Yeah, let's take a look at how it all shook out in Region 25, and you're absolutely right. It's going to be JFK, St. Paul having to go on the road, missing out on a home game by just 1 spot. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they get to watch everybody else perform, Chris, in this first round bye. It looks like a pretty good shot here for them to try to make some noise in the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that 4 spot, you now cross over with McDonald if there's no upset. So, that's the only bad thing. Had you been able to get up to 3, you would have avoided McDonald, who I think everybody believes is probably the favorite in Region 25 this year. But, I didn't get a chance to talk to Coach Tyler Nestor. He was celebrating with his team. I did talk to Coach Chris Dowdy. He goes, that's probably the best game we have played all year. And so, although his team fell short tonight, he was pretty excited about the way his team played, and he is looking forward to the playoffs. It looks like, as you have them posted there, St. Paul will end up finishing 4th in the Firelands Conference, but 3 teams, Monroeville, Western Reserve, which looks like they'll probably go to Patrick Henry, and then St. Paul. Those 3 teams will make the playoffs.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Eagles, undefeated champion, 7-0. That's not easy to do in any league, and especially in the Firelands Conference. The top 4 teams super competitive this year. And unfortunately for the Cougars, they are going to be outside of the postseason looking in this year. No Week 11 for Crestview, but I do want to give a shout out to Liam Kuhn. I am told he had 6 touchdowns tonight. He set a new school standard. That is a record for Crestview football in his final game as a senior, where they put up 50 points. But one heck of a league, Chris, and I'm going to have you stay with me. We're going to look at a couple of other standings real quick. Let's take a look at the Northern 10 Conference. We didn't have any games from them in terms of highlights or live streams this week, but I wanted to show you guys who ended up taking the cake in the championship, because we had kind of a stunning defeat. Seneca East absolutely mollywopped tonight against Mohawk. Nobody really saw that coming. So Cary gets a piece of the championship. Colonel Crawford shares the championship as well, knocking the Warriors out of an opportunity to win the league. But that just kind of goes to show you, Chris, you think that you're the king, you're sitting on top of the throne, and then all of a sudden you get a rivalry game, and who knows, man, any given week with high school kids, you can get a whole mixed bag of emotions.
Yeah, that kind of takes the page from the Firelands Conference last year when you had 9-0 Monroeville lose to 5-4 St. Paul. But again, in those rivalry games, you just throw out the records. That Seneca East win, they were in 8th position, I think, in Division 6, Region 22-23. And that win probably does affect Western Reserve's placement in the playoffs from the Firelands Conference.
Yeah, we're going to check out Region 23 right now, and you see Seneca East sitting in the number 6 spot, so they are going to be at home. Cary, baby, just on the outskirts looking in. And what a run for the Blue Devils. 0-3 start. They win 6 out of their next 7. That's a perennial powerhouse when they get into the tournament, and things always shaking up in the tournament if you can get in. But there is, that's Convoy Crestview down there that's out. Crestview Cougars, I think, were in region 20. No, they are in 23, but they finished 16th?
Well,
they're 22, I'm sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, with that win, that would mean the Western Reserve Rough Riders would be in Seneca East for Week 11.
Have a couple scores that
I believe
need to be
that
out.
would be an 11-6 matchup in that division, and that would get 2 of the teams that we do some coverage for together in Week 11.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. Travis telling me still some things to be figured out, though, huh? They got to untangle, at least 2 more scores?
Yeah, Chris trying to do my job out here. I should have gone home.
Oh.
I'm kidding, Chris.
Sorry.
No, yeah, Western Reserve's win still has to be put into the system right now. They're going to be 9th or 10th. It's going to shuffle a couple things around. But, yeah, there is a possibility that they may be playing at Seneca East. And, hey, what a matchup right there. Like the possibility of Orville and Clear Fork. But, Chris, yeah, good call tonight too, buddy. That was a heck of a – you get all the good games up there, don't you?
Hey, when you're the oldest guy on the staff, you get some of the good games.
I feel like the oldest guy on the staff here tonight. All right. Chris, I'm going to have you break down just one more league with me that we haven't looked at the standings yet. The OCC, the biggest game of the night in the entire league. We've been talking about it. Lexington hosting Ashland, and the Minutemen would get it done. Travis, what did I say at the beginning of the year in the media poll last year? One man and one man only picked Ashland. Me.
Yep.
This year, one man and one man only picked Lexington. Me. The Minutemen get it done. I don't know if I can make money off this or what it's worth, but I feel good right now.
I don't know if it's morally good to do that against for high school football betting, all that stuff. Anyway, but yeah, that not only does that give an OCC championship to the Lexington Minutemen, but that clinches the number 3 seed. Lexington is going to be home practicing in Week 11. How about the Minutemen with that big win, and 1 loss is to Shelby, and how good is Shelby when they're handing 1 losses to all these great other teams? And we talked about Ashland too. Ashland, because of that loss, they will be playing in Week 11. So that knocks Ashland out of being one of those hosts. But yeah, congratulations down to Lexington. Back to the days of when when Cade Stover was leading them to the promised land in a regional final appearance down there. Maybe they'll make it back there. As you see, Buckeyes is a good team. Wapak and Netta got a big win tonight. They're 10-0. But then there's Lexington right there at number 3.
And you see their rival Ontario. Things got shifted around, so they actually are not going to Rocky River anymore, Travis.
I'm sorry. Coach messaged me. They had it switched around, even though the seeds are already locked in. They had it switched, and actually Ontario will be going to Toledo Central Catholic. I'm sorry, Aaron Eckert. My bad, man. Thank you for correcting me, but sorry, Ontario fans. You're going to be heading up there. Hey, upset of the century. There we go. Right there, Ontario over Toledo Central Catholic.
All right, let's get Chris tucked in the bed, the old guy on the crew. Appreciate you, man, doing 2 games tomorrow for us, a couple of district championships. So get in your prep, get in your rest, dude.
Yeah, I had to shave the goatee for a Halloween costume that my wife made me wear, and then I found my 2nd and 3rd chin, so I don't need to look for those anymore. I did want to say, I was looking at that bracket that Lexington's in there, and they're a 3, the 2 seed. Travis Moyer used to be the head football coach at Bucyrus Winford. He is at Wapak right now. They're 10-0, and his son is the quarterback, and they are going to be a real threat this year to win the state title. That could end up being a regional semifinal matchup there with Lexington and Wapak.
All right, appreciate it, Chris. Looking good, looking kind of Fred Flintstone-ish. Is that maybe the costume?
Yeah, I'm going to pick my car up and run to the bedroom.
Well, yabba dabba do, and go ahead and yabba dabba do, keep on your computer tonight, I'm told too, by the tech crew, okay?
You got it.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a timeout. If I have any voice left, I'm going to party when we return.
Hey, does your checking account pay you with real cash rewards with no monthly maintenance fees ever? Bummer. Ask for Kasasa Rewards Checking. It's our superpower.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the Mid-Ohio job market, and we're locally owned. So you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at midohiojobs.net or call 419-747-7479.
Hi guys, I need you all to have a foam finger. At Mechanics Bank, we're all about the community. Whether it's supporting our local teams or cheering you on in life, we're here for you in every victory, big or small. Mechanics Bank. That's better.
At Avita Home Health and Hospice, our caring professionals are ready to serve you with personally tailored services designed to meet the unique needs of each individual. When we take on a patient at Avita Home Health and Hospice, they really do feel like family. So when we take care of our family, we want to take care of the whole person. So we take care of them from our nurses, our aides, our physical, occupational, and speech therapists, but we also have people that tend to their hearts. So we have social workers, we have chaplains, and people that can help with the emotional side of their care.
At Avita Home Health and Hospice, we have a dedicated team that takes care of you. Caring for the whole person is our promise to you. From social and emotional well-being to the way the patient relates to their loved ones, we treat your family like our family.
Serving patients and their families wherever they call home, including assisted living facilities and nursing homes. Call 1-800-4NURSES to see if Avita can help administer your plan of custom care.
In business and ag banking, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the people. At First Federal Community Bank, we believe relationships are the foundation of every successful partnership. We can help you grow your farm through various ag programs, including working with our local FSA offices, as well as Farmer Mac. We have many commercial business programs to help make your day-to-day operations easy and convenient. Because when you bank with us, you're not just a customer, you're family.
When it comes to comfort, every degree matters. At Buckeye Horizon, we proudly install and maintain Trane heating and cooling systems built to last, engineered for performance. And with our expert service, your home stays comfortable year-round. No matter the season, we'll keep your system running at its best. Call Buckeye Horizon at 419-529-2738, your local Trane comfort specialist.
It may have been a very long week here on the OH Report. I think I've called 6 games already. Got another one coming up. I'm a little bit tired, a little bit sick. I did get some tea in me, but for some reason, anytime me and my old friend get together, there's only one thing that I want to do with Andy Jardy, and that is party, baby! Woo!
Let's go. Let's go. Week 10, baby. Nothing like a Week 10 party, am I right?
Oh my gosh. Nothing like it, Andy. I cannot believe that the finish line is here. The regular season's over.
It's wild. It's really, I don't know how we're already here. I feel like we start talking about the playoffs in like week 2.
Pretty much.
and then suddenly it's here. And fastest 10 weeks, man. That's no joke.
Yeah, it has absolutely flown by, but one thing has stayed constant, of course, always. As we jump into your No Huddle headlines, I asked Travis not to spoil it for me. Everybody was like, ooh and ah when they saw the final score of Marion Local. I have not seen yet. What happened?
Well, it took special teams for a special streak. Marion Local survives 7-6 over Coldwater. This is now 74 straight wins. It was a 97-yard kickoff return touchdown to give them the win. It was scoreless at the half. They were down 6-0. They find a way to win this thing 7-6. This is their 3rd win this year by 1 point. They are just flirting with this streak coming to an end. But my goodness, I mean, you want to be tested when you've won this many games in a row. They certainly have been, and they're going to be the team to beat until somebody beats them in D7. So, incredible streak by Marion Local. The team that could potentially get a chance at them again, suffering a big loss tonight, though, in the Norwayne County Athletic League as the Bobcats
should rename it.
Knock off Hillsdale again and our WCAL champs once again. I mean, it's amazing how this just keeps happening. Hillsdale has this incredible season, and for some reason, that bugaboo at the end of the year.
I thought for sure, Andy, they were going to end the streak. They had all the momentum going. Norwayne, too, has been playing really good, so you can't overlook them. But there's just a little space inside of Falcons' heads that they can't seem to shake, and it is owned by Bobcats.
Yeah, impressive. Impressive how they've been able to do this now the last couple of years to Hillsdale. Living up to the hype tonight as well. I mean, the game everyone had talked about since the season started, Lexington-Ashland. This was the Cleveland Browns game of the week, by the way. I don't know if you were aware of that, but that was their game too that they picked. So, huge game. Lexington knocks off previously unbeaten Ashland. They win the OCC 43-35, and what was just an absolutely incredible game from everything that I saw coming out of it. Absolutely lived up to its billing.
Who do you think would give the Browns a better game, though, Andy, if we had to line them up?
Who would give the Browns a better game between Lexington and Ashland? That's a great question. I'm going to go with Lexington just because they won tonight. And so I think Bernhardt could sling the ball against the Browns secondary, but Seven Allen would just provide too many problems for the Browns. So I'll say Lexington.
Yeah, not against our secondary last week, baby. Turning a page, but I say that every week.
Absolutely.
Let's move on.
Yeah, right. Moving on, we'll go stick up here in Northeast Ohio, where Mentor has finished the season 10-0 for the 2nd straight year. This is the first time they've ever done this in the playoff era, where they've gone back-to-back undefeated seasons. And it's the first time they've done it since 1953, 1954, and 1955, when they've gone undefeated and untied in 2 consecutive seasons. So kudos to Mentor. They're the #1 team in D1 Region 1. They are going to be an absolute difficult out for whoever they come across in D1. Look for them to make a deep run and possibly win a state championship this year. And how about the Lucas Cubs, man? They were out of the picture a couple of weeks ago. I wish there was a way we could go back and look at where teams were unless there is a way, and I just haven't figured it out. But I know a couple weeks ago they were very much on the outside looking in, and they had to win out basically to get in. They do it. It's 12 straight postseason berths after the 37-0 win over Crestline. So congratulations to Lucas, Death, Taxes, and the Cubbies in the postseason.
Yeah, I love it, man. And Tim Daly, his post-game interview with me, he just detailed that, exactly what you said. They saw how far outside of the picture they were, and they were like, dude, we have to win all of our games moving forward. Had to actually play on the road against a team from Pennsylvania, get it done, get some points, get a huge win tonight against Crestline. And I'm not shocked whatsoever. Like you said, there's 3 things that we know to be true come this time of year. And the Cubs back in the postseason, man. It's a beautiful thing.
It sure is. It sure is.
All right. Speaking of beautiful things, though, Andy, who makes you feel dandy this week?
We'll start things off with Mr. Seven Allen from Lexington. 3 touchdowns, including a pick 6. Also had another interception as the Minutemen are your OCC champs. What a game. Receiving touchdown, a pick 6, rushing touchdown. I mean, he did it all. So first Andy's dandy goes to Seven Allen. The game we just talked about as well, and you talked to him as well, Tim Daly, 3 interceptions.
Crazy.
And the Cubs shut out over Crestline. I mean, the awareness on some of those was incredibly impressive, too, looking at the highlights you had on earlier in the show. Coming up here, there was a huge game between North Ridgeville and Olmsted Falls. The winner was going to get the last bye in D2 Region 6, and it goes to North Ridgeville, who once again wins a close game. It was Dylan DeShazo, though, a 91-yard kickoff return touchdown as they beat Olmsted Falls 36-34. The Rangers are your number 4 seed in D2 Region 6, which is one of the spiciest regions, I think, in the entire state. There are so many good teams there. It is loaded. And another game, too, here, coming down to the wire. Revere beats Copley tonight on a game-winning 36-yard field goal by David Kennedy. You love to see the kickers come through in the clutch moments, especially at the high school level. Revere was down 21-7 at the half. They come back to win 24-21. They now have a first-round bye in Division III Region 10, which I know we've talked about a little bit here on the show tonight. I believe now they got the 4 seed in D3 Region 10. And my final Andy's Dandy, and I could not do this without Joe Idle, the absolute GOAT. None of us would sound as smart as we do without Joe. So, Joe, thank you for all that you do, because it is such a joy to use your website throughout the season and look ahead and project and predict and try to sound somewhat intelligible to the people that we do these shows for. So, Joe, thank you.
Yeah, a little insider secret for you, Andy. This little laptop that I have open every single week, my quote-unquote notes, I have 11 tabs open of Joe Idle, and I just flip between them. That's all it is, 100%. Yeah. I'm looking at nothing else other than what I jot down on these little pieces of paper. It is all Joe Idle all the time. And quick shout out to that Revere kid. And something that I'm kind of noticing here in the modern era is that kickers seem to be like cool. It's kind of like a very cool place to be on the field these days, Jardy. What was not necessarily the case when I was growing up. Maybe someone that you would pull up off the bench, you're like, you're semi-athletic, we'll give you a try. But I don't know. Right. Kickers seem to be real people now, like Travis always says.
They've started to kind of become like the closer in baseball. Like, you've got this guy that you can just bring in at the end, and it's going to get the job done, and you're going to walk off the field with a win. So, yeah, we're starting to see kids at the high school level make these kicks from 30, 40-plus yards kind of on a consistent basis, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, Travis, you never got the opportunity to do that, but in the backup role, you were always prepared, I think, to come out and be the hero if you needed to.
Absolutely. I was always practicing, getting stretched out there and warming up, just in case. You never know if at the last second they got to call you in there, and then you hopefully you have your depends on, because that wasn't going to be a good idea, a good thing to happen. But, hey, I was ready to kick.
Well, the moment's yours now, baby, because I'm going to let you kick us into the rest of the show. I know that you got a couple things, and Joe Idle's got a few things coming in. So how are we going to close it out here tonight, Trav?
Well, let's first talk about the elephant in the room in the OHSAA in the state of Ohio. Currently sitting at number 3 in Division 5, Region 19, Ironton. Tomorrow morning, the OHSAA is about to release a press release citing, are they still going to be the number 3 team, or are they not going to even be in the playoffs? Have you heard about this, Mr. Jardy, up there?
They're not.
In the
They're done. The press release, Ironton released a press release, and that they will not be in the postseason.
So right now they're sitting at third, but they're out, so everybody moves up, and that means Portsmouth, who they were supposed to play tonight, they didn't have their game in there. Their rivals will sneak in because their rivals just got eliminated out of the postseason. But the OHSA will have their official release tomorrow morning about that. That's been going on for like the last couple days, but my goodness, that's something
It has
else.
been a wild week for the OHSAA. I mean, there are 3 massive stories this week that it's just like, what is happening? The forfeits now instead of cancellations.
That helped out Louisville and Orville as well, the forfeits, because Northwest got points.
You had a team like Norton at the beginning of the season who had hand-mouth foot disease, couldn't play their first game of the year, reaches out to the OHSAA. It's okay, your team's not well, it's just a cancellation. And then you make a mid-season change to a forfeit, which impacts playoff positioning. How do you make that decision in week 10? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And we don't even have time to get into the NIL stuff, but it's been a week. It's been a week.
It has been a week, and we'll talk about right now. Let's get into if you want to stick around, Jardy. Brian, if you want to rest your voice, go ahead. But we'll real quick talk about who's in and everything, because Joe Idle's pretty much updated the whole time. 1 game left in D2 Region 7. That's the big matchup. Massillon, Washington at Canton, McKinley tomorrow. Washington wins their 3rd. They lose their 6th. Ashland is the number 7 team, so they will play number 9 Worthington Kilbourne in the playoffs at home. Louisville, the Leopards, they got bonus points from Northwest because Northwest got that win over Norton now with the bonus points. So Louisville slips in at number 12. They will be going to either Hoover or Westerville South, depending on that Massillon, Washington score. And then Big Walnut, they're just sitting at home waiting because they are the number 1 overall seed. D3 Region 10.
Travis, Travis.
Go ahead.
How about the drop for Ashland? I mean, they were the number 1 team going into week 9. And obviously the strength of schedule kind of caught up to them a little bit there, and then the big loss tonight. I mean, you go from possibly the 1 seed or at least a first-round bye to, I mean, they almost had to go on the road. That's quite the drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's just strength of schedule. The OCC, some of those teams, they just couldn't get bonus points from. Speaking of the OCC, Lexington, they will be at home in Week 12. They're the 3 seed. Ontario, like I said, I'm so sorry. I had that wrong because it was a little switch, but they're going to Toledo Central Catholic. That's just, But hey, Ontario's in the playoffs. They get another week of practice, right?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing too I saw a kid from North Ridgeville said this after their win tonight. The biggest advantage to the first round bye is these kids now get to go trick or treating next Friday instead of having to play a game.
That's true. Oh, that's funny. D4 Region 14, 2 MOAC squads will have the bye. Shelby 1, Galleon's the number 2. Clear Fork is the 8th seed. There's 1 game tomorrow. That's Canton Central Catholic today. Canton Central Catholic 0-9, St. Thomas Aquinas 0-9. If Canton Central Catholic has won that game, Orville will be the 9 seed, and they will go to Clear Fork. If Canton Central Catholic loses that game, then it is Cloverleaf that will be making the trip to the Valley to take on the Colts. So 1 game left there.
How about Orville, too? And we talked about Lucas kind of just coming in out of nowhere. Orville, the last couple weeks, that win that they got over Manchester was so big for them, and they put themselves in a position tonight. Had they beaten Triway, I mean, imagine where they would have ended up in the final rankings. But that Manchester win certainly got them into the postseason.
D5 Region 18, the Fredericktown Freddies with their loss to Centerburg drop all the way down to 10th. They will be traveling to Fairview for week number 11, the number 7 seed. Triway got the number 2 seed. They get the bye there. So Fredericktown, the Freddies, the Fighting Scott Spittlers, finishes runners-up in the KMAC. They finish as a 10 seed. They will head to the 7, Fairview.
And Fairview is tough. They've got a kid at quarterback who has just put up ridiculous numbers this year. So that is going to be a very, very interesting game between those two. But Fairview, look out. That offense can put up some points.
Yeah. Region 22, we talked about, Shelby and Galleon having a great game and then maybe a rematch. Well, Margaretta and Hopewell Loudon had that battle a couple weeks back that Margaretta won. Margaretta has the 1 seed. Hopewell Loudon gets the 2 seed. Seneca East right now is fighting with Bluffton. They're tied in points at the moment.
Yeah.
One's going to get the 6th spot. The other's going to get the 7th. And then Cary and Western Reserve are fighting for the 9th and the 10th spot right now. So we may see either Cary or Western Reserve go to Seneca East, or we may see Cary and Western Reserve go to Bluffton. That's still up for grabs, but those teams right there still on the road. But, yeah, Cary, Western Reserve will be on the road. Seneca East will be at home. Now the fun region, Region 27, or Region 23, I should say. Centerburg's the 1 seed. They get the bye. Mount Gilead is officially the 4 seed. The Indians will be playing in week number 12. How about that? The Fighting Mike Reeds have a school record 9 wins. Colonel Crawford just behind them. They are the 5 seed. They will take on Eastern. Eastern gets the 12, just squeaks out Martins Ferry. Martins Ferry out of the playoffs, but Colonel Crawford will take on Eastern in week number 11.
Yeah, Eastern winning their last 3 games of the season to get themselves into the postseason. So a nice finish there to sneak in there at the end.
Region 25, real quick, we already said Monroeville clinches the Firelands in a 4 seed, and Chris got it right on the head. St. Paul will head to Warren JFK in a 9-8 matchup there. Region 26, Mohawk, the Warriors, could have clinched a top 4 spot, Andy, but the Seneca East Tigers steamroll them and knock them down to the number 6 spot. So that means Montpelier will head to Mohawk in week number 11. Mohawk not getting a bye.
Yeah, crazy upset.
And then lastly, Region 27, there are games tomorrow. Crestline will be watching the South Gallia and Sims Valley game. Sims Valley currently 4th. They could win against South Gallia, get the 3rd spot. If they lose, they're the 4th spot. So that is the game Crestline has to watch for. If South Gallia loses, Crestline should be in. If not, they might be out of the postseason for good. Danville, either 10th or 11th. Lucas, either 9th or 10th. Still some things to play. Steubenville Catholic Central plays tomorrow as well. So there's some games still left there. But the Hillsdale Falcons, they get a week to think about this game. And then I kind of feel bad for the team they'll play in week number 12.
Yeah, and that South Gallia team, too, is coming off a loss last week where they gave up 71 points. And that kid from Eastern set the state record in touchdowns with 10 passing touchdowns in a game. So that could be another shootout against a team they're playing that is 8-1 tomorrow.
Yeah, so Crestline going to be really focused on that game, but that's all the regions. Just stay with the OH Report as we get these games finalized, and we'll get you out another busy week here for week number 11. We'll have a ton of games that we'll be covering. And Jardy, I know you'll be up there covering some more games, and you'll have more dandies next week for the Halloween edition of the Pigskin.
I'm ready. Yeah, let's go. My duties up here are done for this year.
Are they?
So I'm hoping to get back down for you to call some games with you guys here for the postseason.
Well, there we go.
So,
what are you going to dress up as next week?
I don't know yet. Yeah,
okay.
That's still to be determined. Could be Luigi. Luigi's always an option.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's
All right, it's getting late. Mr. Jardy, as always, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you somewhere at a game next week. Maybe you'll come into the studio with us. Who knows if you're close or not. But anyway, thank you once again for the Jardys.
Always.
Always. I'll see you later, buddy. That's it for the fastest 10 weeks of the season. We're going to wrap things up here on the Friday Night Pigskin. Once again, I got to get back to Massillon and back down here because we got a district championship match at noon in 10.5 hours. But we got, 4 games going on tomorrow, Mr. Skowronski?
That's right, 4. Go Warriors. Go Lexington. Go Clear Fork. Who else we got?
And Clear Fork again.
Fork.
Yeah, Clear Fork again.
Go
Doubleheader.
kids.
So, we'll see you soccer tomorrow, and then we'll let you know about the brackets on the podcast on Monday. Myself and Jonathan will have that, and Adam will be there too. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for watching the Week 10 edition of the Friday Night Pigskin. We'll see you next week for our Halloween edition right here, brought to you by Spherion Mid-Ohio. I'll see you later. Hi, Jardy. No, he's down. He's gone. Nah, he's gone. Okay, let's post this and I can get going. What time are you guys planning on trying to get there tomorrow?
Starts at noon.
Yeah.